Motorcyclists have a zest for life. They have their own preferences over what they ride, what they wear and how they ride, which makes it a very diverse crowd. Only a motorcyclist would understand the pleasure of riding a motorcycle, and he finds peace only on that specific motorcycle which would match his frequency. Every motorcyclist will have a personality of his own, and the motorcycle he rides defines that personality. Let's sort those unique ways out. Here is a rundown of 10 types of motorcycle riders. 1. The hardcore retro rider. Only vintage will do for this rider, which defines the royal tag for them. They would restrict themselves to their own motorcycling family and ride together peacefully at their own pace. No modern motorcycle exists for these riders, and they even get into arguments very easily if anyone compares their vintage with modern motorcycle. However, we cannot deny the fact that we all love the way vintage motorcycles look. 2. The die-hard Harley fans. Regardless, Harley riders remain adamant that their motorcycle is different than any other motorcycle on road. These riders would enjoy their own nirvana on their comfortable cruisers, which are usually close to the ground when compared to any other adventure or sports touring motorcycle. A combination of the heavy weight of the bike along with the V-twin motor gives you a machine that can make touring a real blue-eyed pleasure. 3. The poser. Even if you don't ride, you know this rider. This is the person who buys all the shiny new gear and spends all their time stopping at gas stations and bars so they can pose with their bike. They would not know anything about bikes and would stay away from motorcycle conversations. Funny or sad thing happens when you check the miles on their bike and see that they're super low because they never actually ride it for any decent length of time. 4. The adventure tourer. This rider would never want to ride within the city, they would rather call it genuine riding. According to this rider, genuine riding is riding to points of interest exclusively by means of a motorcycle. They believe a motorcycle can go to any place when ridden by a talented rider. Most of them would prefer riding solo to accomplish their set targets as per their itinerary rather than riding with a group. Unless you're a fellow adventure tourer, it's very far-fetched you'll ever see this rider in the wild. 5. The do-it-yourself guys. This type of rider would love their bike more than themselves. They would have not seen the face of a mechanic and would believe that there cannot be a better mechanic than themselves. Changing your engine oil is one thing, yet this is the kind of rider who not just revamps their own particular forks, these riders remake their own engine when needed as well. There is no other rider that would overlap with this rider. A few riders consider their cash, card and mobile phone to be their emergency roadside repair pack, but this kind of rider carries the coolest scaled down toolkit you've ever seen, packed into the littlest space you could find on the motorcycle. Riders are always nervous to ride on abandoned highways with the fear of breakdowns, while this rider is prepared for just about anything, be it a clutch, accelerator cable failure, tire blowouts, annoying rattling noise, a gas tank leak, on-the-fly chain strain adjustment, and so on. 6. The hardcore commuter. From head to toe, this rider has each and every bit of riding gear, you name it and they would have it. They trust themselves and carry every bit of baggage possible and can most likely even shift their home by means of a bike. Sports tourists are the first choice of such type of riders. Riding in extreme conditions and temperatures is a child's play for them. Snowfall, hailstorm, sideways rain or scorching heat, they may pull over if they can't see or will keep riding with the same rhythm as if everything is just normal. 7. The SQUIDS, also known as the freaks. Each one of you may have seen the squids in the wild, being passed by one at triple-digit speeds on the highway. The squid is a dangerous species, but not to fear, it is generally most dangerous to itself, and it would be wise we let them be on their own. The squid is probably riding it much too quick on open streets, illicitly on a footpath, pulling wheelies and stoppies and doing whatever the hellfire they need amidst peak traffic hours. They can cut through any packed traffic effortlessly as though they were riding on an open track. All with no apparatus on, wearing baggy shorts and sneakers despite the fact that they presumably wear some shades. We adore cool tricks, but we hate it when these guys give bikers in general a bad name. 8. The newbie. We all would have been through this type of stereotype, the newbie. On that first motorcycle ride, this rider is excited about learning to ride and even about buying his or her own motorcycle. These riders are extra cautious and terrified, but they would not let it out. If you ride, then you've been there and you understand. Riding a motorcycle is a skill and you learn something new every time you take your motorcycle out on a spin. Teaching and advising the newbies about the do's and don'ts is what makes the biking brotherhood stronger. It makes you feel happy to watch these riders get better, especially if you've been encouraging them along the way. 9. The slow rider. As the name suggests, these are the type of riders who would want to ride at their defined speed, no matter which bike they own. They have a threshold limit set in their mind which would stop them from revving hard. When they are on a ride with other groups, they sure are to make others wait for hours, making the whole trip safe and sane. They ride at such speeds that would not require the 5th and the 6th on their gearbox. It indeed is safe for them to ride like a snail, but even the bike might get bored at one point of time if not pumped in with some adrenaline. I admire this state of mind of these riders. 10. The ultimate caretaker. Sure that one of this type exists in every group, who cleans their bike in every possible way. Every nut and bolt would be shining, and the shine on the bike is so bright that it could make you blind in the day like how a high beam would cause in the night. For the rest, cleaning a motorcycle would require hardly 1 to 2 hours, but this caretaker would spend an entire day to pamper the bike with all possible shampoos, polish, cleansers, brushes and whatnot. Even a bike bought from the showroom might stand old in front of their bike. They would expect their bike to be clean even after doing some off-roading on wet tracks, and would wash, clean their bike at every pit stop they take during a road trip. A little slush on the road would turn them off and they would be ready to take a U-turn back home. Which one of these types of riders would you say you are? If you do not fall in one of these categories, I'd love to know what's your type. If you liked this video, then smash that like button, and if you'd like to catch more motorcycle news and content, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.